The government is now officially shut down because we don't have funding to pay the federal workers. Trump really is running the country like it's one of his businesses. He said he would. Just to give you some perspective, the government being shut down is even worse than when it's up and running. Republicans would like you to believe that Democrats shut the government down, but the bill they wanted the Democrats to sign would knock out about 15 million Americans from health.
I was angry at the time because I was here in New York.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? This guy is close.
Right
It's right there. We should go. That wasn't a stand-up comedy show. It was supposed to be a
political rally.
Something.
Yeah. That joke delivered in that room, as you said, it seems like it's part of the politics of that room.
Yes.
Whether or not it comes from a politics.
There's people that doesn't understand that it's a joke. Mm-hmm. People who gonna agree with that joke and gonna say, yes, Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? That's the part, like, is crazy.
Jimmy Kimmel and Bad Bunny just turned political chaos into performance art. When a late-night comedian and a global reggaeton icon join forces to roast the most attention-hungry president in modern history, the result is an explosion of satire that leaves Donald Trump's ego in ruins. Their chemistry is electric. Kimmel's wit slices like a blade, and Bad Bunny's rhythm gives it fire. This isn't a roast. It's a reckoning. Together, they tear apart the illusion of Trump's genius, mocking the empire of delusion he's been selling for years and exposing the hollow showman behind the slogan.
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a Bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a Bitch.
His loyal. Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans.
Can I know the t-shirt, please?
Teacher. I'm so sorry. I want to apologize with you because I think this is not like you. This is more like Donald Trump.
You sounded more like Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon because Jimmy Kimmel starts this chaos exactly how only he can. He takes Donald Trump's latest press stunt and turns it into comedy gold. He doesn't stretch the truth, he just shines a light on the absurdity. One moment Trump's bragging about creating jobs, the next he's firing half his staff for correcting him about Wi-Fi being infrastructure. Kimmel paints Trump's presidency like a never-ending sitcom, one that should have been cancelled seasons ago but somehow keeps renewing itself through scandal and ego.
He says he would carry out a deportation operation to remove more than 11 million people from the country. He says he would use the military to build migrant detention camps. He would let red states monitor women's pregnancies and prosecute those who violate abortion bans. He would, at his personal discretion, withhold funds appropriated by Congress. He would fire any U.S. attorney who wouldn't.
Then enters Bad Bunny, the global superstar who turns silence into resistance. No teleprompters, no political filters, just rhythm and brutal honesty. To him, Donald Trump's world is chaos on shuffle mode. A beat so broken even auto-tune can't fix it. His lyrics become truth bombs, mocking the confusion, arrogance, and contradiction of a man who treats power like publicity. Every speech, every outburst, every desperate rally transforms into a verse of poetic mockery. When Bad Bunny speaks, it's not just music, it's rebellion with a melody.
You might not know these, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy, and I think everyone is happy about it. Even Fox News. That Bunny is my favorite musician, and he should be the next president.
Together, Kimmel and Bad Bunny become the perfect duo of laughter and resistance. One breaks Trump's illusions with razor-sharp humor, the other turns his downfall into rhythm. Donald Trump's so-called empire, the hotels, the hats, the hype, looks smaller when stripped of spectacle. The applause isn't for him anymore. It's for the truth. Their roast isn't personal, it's cultural therapy, a reminder that satire can do what politics often can't. Reveal the mask behind the power.
prosecute. He's weighing pardons for everyone who attacked the Capitol January 6th. He said he might not come to the aid of an ally in Europe or Asia if he felt that country wasn't paying enough. He would gut the civil service. He would close the White House Pandemic Preparedness Office and staff his administration only with those who believe the election was stolen from him. And when they asked about dictatorship, he said, I think a lot of people like it. And he's on the cover of Time magazine. He should be on the...
Jimmy Kimmel doesn't just crack jokes, he dissects them. Every punchline exposes another layer of Donald Trump's insecurity. He paints him as a man addicted to applause, allergic to facts, and terrified of being ordinary. Kimmel's satire doesn't need anger, it uses irony to make the truth sting. He takes Trump's press conferences and policies and rearranges them into a tragic comedy that feels both hilarious and haunting, the story of a man who mistakes chaos for charisma.
Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. Now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times.
Then Bad Bunny takes the baton and turns the chaos into rhythm. His beats carry the weight of rebellion. Trump's immigration, climate, and equality blunders become verses of global defiance. His message is crystal clear: the world doesn't dance to lies. If Donald Trump insists on leading with arrogance, Bad Bunny turns his noise into music that mocks him in every language. It's poetry with purpose, laughter, and melody joining forces to dethrone the myth of power through propaganda.
Which meant it was time for our Commander-in Cheeseburger to weigh in on one of the most pressing issues our military faces today: unattractive battleships.
You know, in the Second World War, they were freighters at different times, but we were doing a ship a day, and now we don't do ships. And I'm not a fan of some of the ships you do. I'm a very aesthetic person, and I don't like some of the ships you're doing aesthetically. They say, oh, it's stealth. I say, that's not stealth. An ugly ship is not necessary in order to say you're stealth.
When Kimmel describes Trump's leadership, it sounds more like open mic night at a failing comedy club. He improvises, policy governs by tweet, and manages crises like a man reading instructions upside down. Each scandal feels like an episode of Deja Vu. But Bad Bunny takes that chaos and remixes it into art. His stage presence is quiet but commanding, a reminder that real power doesn't need a microphone, it commands the moment. He turns Trump's tantrums into tempo, his arrogance into irony. The louder Trump gets, the funnier the truth becomes.
Affair. Hegseth said, we're getting rid of DEI in the military. We're getting rid of dudes in dresses. He said there will be no more beardos, which is what weird people call men with beards. And just as it said on Pete's Tinder profile, no fatties allowed.
Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Right. Trump was there.
Kimmel digs deeper into Trump's contradictions: the dealmaker who loses deals, the patriot who outsources his own brand, the strongman who folds at the slightest criticism. Meanwhile, Bad Bunny represents everything Trump can't understand: authenticity, global unity, and unapologetic truth. Their roast isn't just an attack, it's a contrast. One thrives on division, the other on connection. Together, they expose the fragility of power built on lies and the strength of voices built on truth.
Including, I don't know if you saw this, but he made a major announcement. I am ordering my administration to declassify and release all government records related to Amelia Earhart, her final trip, and everything else about her. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We had no attention to that matter. Unless her final flight was to Epstein's Island, no one cared.
Bad Bunny turns political critique into performance, while Kimmel unpacks Donald Trump's addiction to chaos and attention. Trump mistakes outrage for control, but Kimmel flips that illusion on its head. He shows that noise isn't power, it's panic. Bad Bunny echoes that message across borders, turning it into a rhythm of resistance. Trump's slogans sound outdated, like a broken record trying to drown out the sound of progress. Together they prove that the world's moved on and Trump's ego can't keep up with the beat.
I'm never performing in the US again. I'm scared that ICE might raid the venue outside my show. And honestly, I can't risk the safety of my fans like that. Mainland America just doesn't feel necessary to me.
Bad Bunny compliments Kimmel's satire with cultural firepower. His music channels frustration into freedom, and his lyrics dismantle Donald Trump's theatrics with grace. Kimmel mocks the rallies, calling them therapy sessions for fragile egos, while Bad Bunny transforms that mockery into melody. It's not just comedy, it's catharsis. Laughter becomes healing. They show that mockery can liberate a culture from fear, and that truth always finds its rhythm even in chaos.
Donald Trump actually said our new military will bring back new focus on fitness. I love the idea that Trump is lecturing these guys on fitness. I mean, if that isn't the fondue pot calling the kettle fat, I don't know what is. Listen up, generals. I want to make something very clear. The Pillsbury Dope president wants you to do Pilates.
Jimmy Kimmel sharpens his jokes until they cut through the illusion of strength Donald Trump tries to project. Each line strips away another layer of bluster, leaving the man behind the myth exposed and desperate. Then Bad Bunny closes with rhythm that feels like rebellion. His music isn't angry, it's empowering. It reminds the world that art speaks truth louder than politics ever could. Trump built a stage for control, but Kimmel and Bunny turned it into a stage for exposure.
Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't.
Bad Bunny delivers the finale like a revolution in motion. His rhythm defies fear, his message inspires freedom. Kimmel's satire shatters the myth of invincibility Donald Trump once hid behind. Every boast becomes a joke. Every failure becomes a verse. Together they prove that laughter and music are stronger than propaganda. Their roast isn't cruelty, it's clarity. The world laughs not to mock but to move on. The showman finally faces his audience and realizes the laughter isn't applause. It's awareness.